It was a cold morning in the bustling streets of ancient Rome, where a young man named Cassius walked with a heavy heart. A merchant by trade, Cassius had seen his fortunes dwindle through a series of poor decisions. His debts mounted, his relationships frayed, and he was consumed by anger and despair. Each misfortune seemed to cut deeper than the last, leaving him resentful of life itself. One day, as he wandered aimlessly, he heard whispers of a philosopher named Epictetus, a former slave-turned-teacher, whose wisdom was said to bring peace even to the most troubled minds. Curious but skeptical, Cassius decided to attend one of Epictetus' lectures. The gathering was small and modest courtyard where people of all walks of life sat in a semicircle. Epictetus, an older man with a calm yet commanding presence, began to speak. "Friends, the essence of freedom is not found in wealth or power. It lies in the mastery of oneself. Some things are within our control, and others are not. Wisdom begins with knowing the difference." Cassius felt a spark of intrigue. He stayed after the lecture, approaching Epictetus with questions. "You speak of control, but how can I not be angered by the injustices I face? My rivals cheat me, my friends abandon me, and fate has turned against me. Surely, I cannot simply accept these things." Epictetus smiled gently and replied, "Tell me, Cassius, can you control the actions of your rivals? Can you dictate the loyalty of your friends or the whims of fate?" Cassius hesitated, then admitted he could not. "Then why waste your energy on what is beyond your reach?" Epictetus continued, "Focus instead on what you can govern: your thoughts, your actions, your responses. That is where your true power lies." The first lesson, the dichotomy of control. Cassius began his journey with this simple but profound principle. At first, it was difficult. When his creditors came knocking or rumors about him spread through the market, he would feel the familiar surge of anger and frustration. But then he would pause and recall Epictetus' words. "Is this within my control?" Slowly, he learned to shift his focus from the uncontrollable to the manageable. One evening, as he sat by a fire reflecting on the day, he noticed a sense of peace he hadn't felt in years. Though his external problems remained, they no longer consumed him. He had taken the first step toward freedom, not from his circumstances, but from his own destructive emotions. The second lesson, mastering desire and aversion. Months later, Cassius returned to Epictetus' school. He shared his progress, but confessed that he still struggled with desires. His longing for wealth, comfort, and status often led to disappointment. Epictetus nodded and said, "Desire what is within your control, and you will never be disappointed. Fear only what truly harms your character, and you will never be enslaved by fear." Epictetus taught Cassius to view desires and aversions through the lens of reason. He practiced detaching himself from material possessions, reminding himself that their loss did not diminish his worth. He also confronted his fears head-on, such as his dread of public failure, by imagining the worst and realizing he could endure it. Cassius learned to appreciate what he already had: a warm home, food to eat, and the capacity to think and grow. Each day, he practiced gratitude, not for grand fortunes, but for the small blessings often overlooked. The third lesson, living in accord with nature. One day, Epictetus spoke of living in harmony with nature. He explained, "You are a part of this universe, not apart from it. To live well is to align yourself with the natural order, accept life as it unfolds, and perform your role with virtue and integrity." Cassius pondered this deeply. He began to see himself as a thread in a vast tapestry, interconnected with others and the world around him. When misfortunes arose, he no longer cursed fate, but viewed them as opportunities to grow in courage and resilience. During a harsh winter, when his crops failed, he did not despair. Instead, he worked harder, treated his workers with kindness, and sought creative solutions. His neighbors marveled at his calm demeanor, and some even came to him for advice. The fourth lesson, freedom through philosophy. As years passed, Cassius transformed. He was no longer the anxious, angry merchant who had first stumbled upon Epictetus. He had become a man of equanimity and strength, unshaken by external events. One day, A friend asked him how he had changed so profoundly. Cassius replied, "I learned that freedom is not about controlling the world, it is about mastering myself. I cannot prevent misfortune, but I can choose how to meet it. I cannot guarantee success, but I can act with virtue. This is the wisdom Epictetus has given me." The legacy of Epictetus. In the years that followed, Cassius continued to study and apply the teachings of Epictetus. His story spread, inspiring others to take control of their lives by focusing on what truly mattered. Though Epictetus himself had long since passed, his wisdom endured through the actions of those who lived by his principles. Cassius would often recite a favorite quote from his teacher: "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." These words, simple yet profound, became his guiding light. Through his journey, Cassius proved that the teachings of Epictetus were not mere philosophy but a roadmap to a life of resilience, purpose, and peace.